YouTube, looking pretty sexy today. Did you get a haircut? Something looks different about you. But anyhow, it's me, Mark Nestico, aka Casper the Friendly Gamer, representing Southwest Florida Gamers with yet another pickup video for you, representing the Lucky Mega Man shirt that has brought me a lot of luck the last few months. Today was no exception. This week was absolutely fabulous for tons and tons of pickups. I'm getting real lucky the last few weeks since I got back from all my trips. So let's kick back, have a little raspberry brisk. God, I'm really looking for a sponsorship from these guys. Free brisk would just be the greatest thing ever. I'm trying to recover after watching the Royal Rumble, watching Dave Bautista win. I'm pretty sure I had an aneurysm, so I'm deciding to do this to make myself feel a little bit better. So to kick things off, I started off my week, a friend of ours named Orlando, member of Southwest Florida Gamers, great guy. He decided to get rid of some stuff and wanted to make a little bit of extra cash. So I obliged him. They had a bunch of games that I did not own, and I recently started collecting Sega Genesis stuff, and the collection of it has grown exponentially in the last few weeks. So kick things off with Orlando's pickup. We've got, boom, copy of Terminator. A lot of these are common titles, just ones I just didn't have. This is going to be Taz, Escape from Mars. Phantom 2040. Echo the Dolphin. I already have this one, so I'll probably just put it up for trade. We have a copy of Paperboy. So many games. So many games. Beauty and the Beast. With a label that looks like somebody just did not give a shit. Judge Dredd. I am the law. Movie was so bad. Power Rangers of the Mighty Morphin variety. Because we needed a sequel. Cool Spot Goes to Hollywood. Another label looked like somebody chewed it up. Actually a pretty sweet game. Really good one. Batman and Robin. Based on the animated series, one of the best animated series of the 1990s. Alien 3. It's kind of hard to see. And then Cool Spot. Not a great game. I actually remember playing this a lot when I was a kid, though, because a friend of mine had it, and every time I went over to his house, we played it. So it kind of has some fond memories attached to it. Then complete inboxed 6-pack. Cardboard's actually in really nice shape. This is our game. A complete copy of Eternal Champions, which I love fighting games, so this is a really cool one to pick up. And then a pretty interesting one. This is going to be hard to open. A complete copy of RoboCop versus Terminator. So two really storied franchises, two of the premier 80s action, naked Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me, all sorts of good shit. He threw in a couple other things. This is a copy of Super Mario Galaxy 2. It has the disc, it has the literature, however it does not have the outside cover. It's in a generic case, so I'm going to try to work on getting some sleeve art. Copy of Super Mario Galaxy 1, which I picked this up last week if you watched, but the disc wasn't in really good shape. This one, however, not too shabby. A copy of Twisted Metal 3, which I've been looking to pick up. A lot of people give this game shit, say it's awful. Disc is in nice shape too. I actually enjoyed this game. It had a good soundtrack. It kind of deviated from the awesomeness that was Twisted Metal 2, but it was fun. It was different. I don't really consider it super canon, which is why 4 went back to like what happened after Twisted Metal 2, but still not bad. One game that I'm really happy to pick up, it's a long box copy of Twisted Metal. I picked this up in the same trade that I did with Orlando from the Flying Dutchman, John. He had this for me. I hooked him up with a Genesis game that he wanted, so I picked this up as I was doing this deal with Orlando. But it's complete. It's nice. Not too bad a shape. Disc is a little bit ripped up, but just getting the long box and the manual, it was like a blessing. So I can replace the disc at any time. Finish off things with Orlando. We've got Klonoa 2, complete for the PS2. It's a really cool game. I read some good reviews on it. It looks like it's really, really awesome. So I've been on a PS2 kick pretty hard lately, so that's probably going to jump into that bad boy. And this is like the coup de grace. He was, I think, kind of hesitant to get rid of it, but this is pretty much why I made the deal. The rest of this stuff was good, and I definitely would have bought it off of him, but kind of hard to say no to this one. It's very, very sexy. It's in pretty good shape. Teeny bit of fading on it, but I mean, something this old. It's a complete copy of Nights into Dreams with the controller. Let's go ahead and show you all sexiness. But here you're going to see it's got the insides. It's got the Nights into Dreams disc, the not for resale, with the disc in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shape. So that was really nice. And gotta get it closed there. There we go. And a really nice Saturn controller, perfect shape. Looks like it was never played, to be honest. Probably like it still has the black little band around it. Really, really nice. The box is in good shape. It's nice. It's firm. A little bit of fading on it. We know where the shop that it came from, and it's a reseller, but they're the people that think any Mario game is worth $1 million, and sometimes they slip on, you know, normal prices. Our friend John got a Haganeh from them for $60, I think. So they unfortunately, well, unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, they don't really know their prices on a lot of things. So let's get this bad boy put away. But this is really, really pretty, great shape. This was the whole reason I picked up this lot for him. So I was happy to help him out, give him some cash. Not really going to discuss prices because that's, you know, poor form when you're dealing with friends. But it was a great, great deal. I couldn't turn it down, and was really happy to get that. So a few days later, I talked to a friend of mine over Facebook. He has a shit ton of retro stuff that he is willing to get rid of. And I deal with Magic cards, and he wanted some stuff that I was able to get him. So I decided to do a trade with him where I traded several $100s in Magic cards for a lot of stuff. And it's actually not even all of it, because he sent me a message today saying he actually forgot a box of it. So next time I see him, there's going to be more stuff added onto it. So we did a really nice pickup with that. Included some systems, as well as pretty much like a hodgepodge of a bunch of really cool things. So let's start off with some GameCube stuff. First is a complete copy of Star Fox Assault. And this one is going to be complete, beautiful shape. The disc is just in great shape. He took really, really good care of his games. Just a sports title, Madden 06. These were pretty much throw-ins. We had like a small, oh, and it has a memory card. I didn't even realize it. Oh, that's great. Cool. We had a small discrepancy in the price, and I was like, yeah, just throw in whatever. Like, I didn't really care. It wasn't too much to warrant me worrying, but he threw in a bunch of extra stuff. Mario Kart Double Dash with the bonus disc. So I actually had a copy of this one. This one's going to replace the one that I had, because the one I had didn't have the bonus disc, and I'm going to use the other one for trade. X-Men Legends. Exploding. This video's in 3D. Has like some wispy dust. A copy of Metroid Prime. Just an awesome game. And then the sequel, Metroid Prime Echoes, with that really awesome holographic front. Fortunately, no manual, but still in pretty sweet shape. All his discs are in great shape. He took really, really good care of his games. It's absolutely beautiful. So moving on from the GameCube, we have some DS games. Advance Wars, Days of Ruin, complete. I'm picking up some DS games lately. Lots of really good titles on the DS. And then lastly, we got Marvel Trading Card Game. Complete. We have some N64 games. We've got a copy of Mario Tennis. Really nice copy of Mario Kart 64. This is like the 5th one that I've gotten recently. I just kind of keep putting them up for trade. And then a really, really, really nice one. This is the one that I wanted the most out of his N64 games, and that's a copy of StarCraft 64. Really, really awesome to get this one. Picking up like all sorts of N64 lately. Then we got some Super Nintendo games, nothing crazy, very common stuff. Royal Rumble. All of these I believe are duplicates for me. Except for one. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Really, really good beat 'em up, though. I didn't have this one. Jurassic Park Part 2. The chaos continues. And then just one that I didn't have, but really common, Brett Hall Hockey. Another one I didn't have, super common though, Sim City, where you get to play God. Then we get into some Genesis titles. You can see them moving very slowly. We've got Wolverine, Adamantium Rage. These are all ones that I didn't have, except for a couple of them. Monopoly. Pretty common stuff. Jurassic Park. We'll save this one because it's interesting. Sonic 2. The Tick, which is a really cool cartoon. X-Men 2. Copy of Vector Man. We'll be seeing more of him later. NHL 96. Or pardon me, N95, and then we've got NHL 96. Really nice, the red cartridge, Maximum Carnage. Copy of Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Awesome game, great soundtrack. Probably better, at least in my opinion, on the Super Nintendo, but the soundtrack is definitely going to be better on the Sega Genesis. Blast Processing. This one was kind of interesting. It's a label variant of Sonic. It does have a little rip right here, but our friend Jason, 8-Bit Hall of Fame, told me that this was the Canadian release, and it makes sense because my friend John, who I got this from, is Canadian. So kind of neat to have this, actually, just a little bit of variation in Sonic 1. Kind of a cooler label. It looks a little bit more anime-inspired with Eggman in the back and all that. Kind of cool. Copy of X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Kind of a hard game to find. Unfortunately, no manual, but the disc is, again, just in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shape, as you can see right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and work on getting the manual for this. I'm sure it won't be super duper difficult to find, but really nice PS1 find here. And then we get into lots and lots and lots of things. We got some Nintendo cleaners. We're going to try to go through this one pretty quick. So some really good titles in here, actually. And then some fun ones, and some doubles that I have. But Godzilla. And again, all these are in great shape. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ice hockey. Can't forget about Jeopardy! Pretty good title here, Super C. Not one, but two copies. Super Mario Bros. 3. RBI Baseball. This is Magmax. Really cool artwork on the front of it. Little League Baseball. Double Dragon 2. Which is sweet because I have 3. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Return of the Sinister Six. Very underrated stable of villains. I'm a huge comic book fan, but I really enjoyed things like Vulture and the Sandman. Wolverine. Pac-Man, from our good friends Intention. Steel Cage Challenge, WWE. Probably I could put on a better match than what we were able to witness tonight in the Royal Rumble. A little Canadian Mountie on Macho Man. We've got Double Dare. Pro Wrestling. Double Dragon. So I've got 1, 2, and 3 for the NES now. Joe's Foreman KO Boxing. Label's a little bit loose up here on top. Tetris. Dun-it. 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 Most mass-produced game in the history of mass-produced games, Super Mario Duck Hunt. Super Mario 2. One of my favorite ones, Kirby Adventure. And Batman. So, not really much uncommon stuff, but definitely a lot of things that I did not have for my budding NES collection. So those were a lot of really nice games to get a hold of. I was really thankful that he brought them all down. He stopped over my house. We were going to a big Magic event on Saturday, and he stopped down on his way down to Miami and dropped everything off for me. So that was really nice of him, so I appreciate that. Then some other things that he brought some systems. First, these do need to be cleaned up, but a Nintendo, which is kind of cool, because the one that I bought at a garage sale did not work. It gray screened, so we opened it up, tried to clean it, and nothing happened with it. And this came with the hookups, of course, and 2 controllers. And the other one that he brought me is a top-loader Nintendo. This one is actually in pretty nice shape, a little bit dusty. He had these sitting in his garage for a while, but it also came with a dog bone controller, which is great. Buttons are really firm. It's really clean. No, yellowing or fading on the plastic. So this was really, really cool to get. I was quite pleased with this one especially. This is going to be my play model, and then I'm going to clean this other Nintendo up, and I have this whole new theme going for my game room, so you guys will be able to see that eventually when I do it. So, I forgot to show you guys this too. I also got this in the deal with Orlando, with all the other games and the 3D thing. This is a third-party controller for a Genesis, and this I'm really excited to have. This is a really nice condition Model 1 Genesis. I've been using a Model 2 for a while, and I always wanted a 1. My cousin Corey had a Model 1 when we were growing up, so I always associate the Sega Genesis with this and not the 2 that I was using. But this is really clean. It's in great shape. It's got all the everything, no missing parts or anything like that, so it's really, really cool. So I'm really, really, really stoked to have that. That was one of the big deals about that trade. It was like that in the Nights into Dreams. The rest of it I really, could have taken or leaving, but that was just super duper awesome. So anyhow, today, being Sunday, was hunting day with the Southwest Florida Gamers. We got everybody all together. There were about 7 of us, I think, 7 or 8. And, 7, yeah, 7 of us total. And we all went down to a few different flea markets. We went to the Ortiz Flea Market. We went to a place called Flea Masters, which is now, in my opinion, dead. You'll find out why in a few minutes. We went to a Play and Trade that is going out of business, and then we went to a friend's house, a mutual acquaintance, who was selling some video games and some toys. So half of our group was really interested in the toys, and the other half was really interested in the video games. So we were able to have a nice little trip that benefited everybody. But the first thing we did, we went to Ortiz, which is more garage sales, very non-insane resellers. Some of them have shitty prices, some of them have really good prices, and then there's a lot of garage sales, so you're able to pick some stuff up. So the first thing we found was in a garage sale. I kind of use this just like an icebreaker. I like to get the blood flowing a little bit early whenever I get started. It's a complete in-box copy of Shinobi. Open. They wanted $5 a game. This is broken, but luckily I have a bunch of extra, PS2 boxes. So I was able to get this, manual thing. Apparently this game is really, really, really hard, but I love Shinobi a lot. And I got this for $3. They wanted $5 a game. We bought 2 games for $6. Jose, I believe, bought a GameCube game, so we got this for $3. So, it's not a great deal. It's a little bit less than what it goes for. It's like $6-7 complete, but just want to get the blood flowing early in the morning and just be like, all right, got something. So not too shabby. PS2 game that I did not have. Then we walked over. There was this insane old man running his garage sale, screaming, first person gets this $1. Buy all these controllers for $6. And he had like a bunch of PS2 controllers. They were all really, really dirty and raggedy though. And he had a couple other random knickknacks sitting around. But one of the things that I grabbed was something I did not have, which was for the PS1, and that is the gun. Light gun. It feels like it's in good shape. It definitely needs to be cleaned. It's just very, very dusty. But did not have this, and I actually have a couple PS1 games that require a gun that I haven't been able to play. But it looks like it's in good shape. Shook it. Didn't hear any shaking really. So no jingling parts and everything. So hopefully it will work. I'm gonna go ahead and test the sucker out later. But pretty cool to get this gun. And I asked him, I was like, would you do a buck on it? And he's like, sure. So didn't really even give a shit. He was just screaming about watermelons for most of the time. And, buy my watermelons. And then some guy was like, buy my oranges. And the old guy was like, man, fuck that. My oranges are 4 for $1. And the other guy was like, yeah, well, screw you, man. So they were like yelling about oranges to each other. So kind of dusty, a little bit grimy, but otherwise, pretty cool for $1. Then we went over to one of our normal resellers. Guy, usually, last week I picked up Wardner off of him for $6. You know, it's a very, very expensive Genesis game. We checked eBay. There's 3 sales going on for it now. Very few completed listings for it. Complete in the box, it's been going for like $60 to $80. So his prices are always kind of reasonable on some games, and then other games it'll be like, you know, a copy of E.T. on the Atari and it's $6. Everything with this guy games are $6. So I picked up a copy of Road Rash 2 on the Genesis for $6. 3D again for $6. You know, the cart was in really nice shape. The book also in pretty decent shape, and it's one of those fat box, you know, games. And I always like Road Rash. Road Rash 3D on the PS1 is one of my favorite PS1 titles. It's just a lot of fun, great soundtrack, pretty interesting gameplay. So I wasn't, you know, too terribly worried about, you know, paying $6 for it. You know, we checked it out, like a $12, $13 game complete. Nothing big, but I like Road Rash a lot, and, you know, I'm trying to expand my Genesis library, so was happy to get that. Next we go to another reseller, and he had some new things today, so I spent a little bit more money than I usually spend on games, but they were pretty quality titles. I spent $20 total for a copy of Predator Concrete Jungle, which actually is a fun game. It's sandbox. It didn't get super good reviews, but when I bought it, I actually had a lot of fun with it. The mechanics are cool. The ability to kill people and make them into trophies was cool, and I always love the Predator series. It's one of my favorites from the 80s. So I had a lot of fun playing this game when it first came out. I think it was like 04 or 05 when it came out. But I played this game a lot whenever it first came out, and I really enjoyed it. And the second one, which was certainly worth it to pick up, was a complete in-box copy of The Warriors for the PS2, which right now the game is going for about $25 to $30 complete on eBay. Disc is in just really nice shape. This is one of those games that just keeps going up in price. I remember I had this game a long time ago. I sold it, and I wanted to buy it again. I looked it up like a year ago, and it was like $15 on eBay. I was like, forget it, you know, whatever. Maybe I'll find it someday eventually. But you know, it's almost risen like $10 to $15. It's doubled in price. The movie celebrated its 25th year anniversary and had, you know, a special Blu-ray release, and it jumped up in price again. It's since it's a big cult hit film, and it's one of my favorite from that era. So kind of happy to have this. I don't, like I said, I don't usually spend that much on these games. Like $20 for like PS2 things to me is like a little bit awkward, but at the same time it felt right, you know. And also because I thought I was going to be spending money on that one collection that I ended up using Magic cards for, I had just a lot of excess spending money to work out on games, you know, because when you're an adult, you figure out what your bills are and you figure out when to pay them and when they're due, and you're like, oh shit, I've got money. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, $20 for those two. So eventually me and Jose, I believe it was, or was it Raphael? No, it was Raphael. We made a little trade. I had an incomplete copy of Dog's Life and a copy of WWF Raw on the 32X. Each of them with, you know, one without the manual and the 32X game, about $15, and then, you know, without the manual, about $25. So I picked up a couple games off of him. One of them is this beat the shit copy of Super Mario World, but I'm going to use it for trading. You know, not a terrible find. It's a good game. People always want it. And then a copy of Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. So I, you know, hooked him up with those. You know, kind of gave him a little bit of a deal on it, but I like these a lot more than I like having a second copy of Dog's Life and a 32X game that I can't play. So, moving on. I'll do the big part for last. Moving on, we went to a friend's house. He was doing a garage sale, and he had a bunch of games just like hanging out. So for $10, I picked up 3 games off of him. And like as I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of getting into the long box thing. So we got a copy of Warhawk for the PS1. This one has got that little bit of fraying at the top, but I'm just going to glue that down, make it look like new again. A copy of Jupiter Strike, and this is in just really nice shape. Box is beautiful. So funny, like 1995, they're like advertising NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Again, just really, really, really nice shape. I really love these long box games. I think they're absolutely beautiful. This might actually become like my thing, where I try to get a complete set of long box. Whoa, real crazy. And then another good one, Player's Choice, but it is complete, and that's a copy of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life. It's a Harvest Moon game. It's not worth tons of money. It's like $15 complete, but the disc is in good shape, and those 3 for $10. Didn't feel like I was really breaking the bank on it. So yeah, so picked those up for 10, and then a couple guys bought some toys. Everybody bought a few games off them. They made probably like 50 or so bucks off of us for just staying open for an extra 20 minutes. So pick those up. Next thing I'll show you real quick. It doesn't have to do with today. Happened actually last night on my way back from Miami. Got a text message from a gentleman that I've purchased some things off of in the past, and he had a couple things lying around that he sold me. One of them was I don't have it with me because I actually hooked Matt up with it. It was a complete in box, and the box is in beautiful shape, copy of Tetris 3D for the Virtual Boy. So I traded that to Matt, and because he's got the Virtual Boy and he loves complete in box games. So I hooked him up with that, and then that WWF Raw that went to Raphael for those other 2 Super Nintendo games that you saw. But picked up a copy off this guy of Dakatana for the 64. And then the one that I was really happy about, really nice, clean, shiny, glossy label, Mega Man 4 for the NES, which you can tell I'm a huge Mega Man fan. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So was really happy to get those off of him. I paid $80 for those games. Oh yeah, we got this too. Another copy of Donkey Kong Country. But most of that money was carried by the complete in box Tetris 3D for the Virtual Boy, which we looked up on eBay. The completed auctions for it were going for around $80 to $100. I picked up the whole lot for $80. So, and then I got Matt that we valued it at $60. So I pretty much for $20 got a copy of Donkey Kong Country, a WWF 32X game, that copy of Dekatana in Mega Man 4. So, not bad for $20. No complaints. The last thing that we did, though, we went to our local play and trade. And by local, I mean like 35 minutes away. But they're going out of business. And because they are owned instead of they have the name, but, it's individually owned. The gentleman that was running it basically said that he's going to be eBaying everything. Like, when his store is done, he is just going to pack everything up and he's going to start selling it all on eBay. That's going to be what he does. He's just going to ship everything on eBay. So pretty much we were like, listen, like, we brought a bunch of money today. We want to sell some stuff or buy some stuff, So if you sell it to us for good prices, we're gonna buy a bunch of stuff. And the guy was like, sure, like, no problem. So everything you're gonna see here, I got for $100. And again, that's a lot more than I like to spend on games, but I felt really, really comfortable with the prices. And because I hooked up Matt with the, the Virtual Boy game for $60, and our friend Penguin, I hooked up a copy of Gradius 3 on the Game Boy, complete in box, it's extremely difficult to find, for $30, which I think was an insanely good price that I gave him. So I had like $90 in cash off that. So I basically got to just like parlay that into this. So that Virtual Boy and that game that I spent $2 for on a garage sale that I sold for $30, I got to turn into this, which I was super duper happy with. The first was a copy of Splatterhouse 2 on the Genesis, which is in really, really, really nice shape. It's got a great, great label. It does have one of those stupid things on the back for, you can rent this here. Next is a complete in-box copy of Dragon's Fury. We're pinballing it up. Pretty cool, though. They had it listed at, $8, and, it's like a $15 game complete. I thought that was cool. Like, no biggie. Next, we have a copy of Donkey Kong Country. It is complete in box. As you can tell, I have 8 million Donkey Kong Countries lately, but this is going to be my real copy now. It is in really, really nice shape. The box is beautiful. Has everything inside of it. All the, the manual. There we go. Manual's it's in a little bit bent. You can tell it probably has a little bit of water damage. but the card itself is just in really, really nice shape. Very, very clean. And the box is very, very firm, very, very nice. And was happy to get this. They cut some really nice deals on it. Basically, we checked eBay, and he just gave me everything cheaper than it was on eBay. So this was usually going for about $30 on eBay. Between $25 and $30. He hooked it up for $20. The Splatterhouse we checked out was going for $30 to $40 on eBay completed. He gave it to me for like $20, $25. This was the really nice one though that I got, and it is a complete in-box copy of Lost Vikings 2. This is an awesome game. It is extremely fun. Really, really, really nice. Very, very pleased with this. Whoop. Take a look. But it is in really nice shape. Let's show you there. And the manual, beautiful shape too. And again, the box is just extremely high quality. Completed listings, this sucker was going for like 55. One of them went as high as 70. I don't see it ever realistically going that high, but still not bad. $70. So we settled on a good price for this. So I was quite pleased with these pickups that I got from them. All along, just good prices. I don't like to spend that much, like I said, but it was not a hard choice to make when you're talking about complete in-box Super Nintendo games that are in great shape. And then Splatterhouse 2, just awesome Genesis title. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is this kind of cool thing that I got. This was a gift from Dutchman, actually. John, part of the Southwest 40 Gamers. He asked me if I had it. I said, I have the game, but I don't have it complete in box. He was like, hey, well, I'll bring it for you. So it is a copy of Vector Man. And the card is in really, really nice shape. Still has the old, cardboard, and it's got the old Vector Man manual. So that was just really nice. It was a very pleasant surprise. It was a great gift, and it was very much appreciated. I made a trade with him too, where I hooked him up with a copy of Legends of Dragoon for the PS1, and I'm sure he's gonna, do something with that eventually, and trade me something small. So yeah, those were my pickups for the week. Not too bad. Lots of stuff, good volume, great selection of titles, and luckily I didn't really spend that much. The $100 here, and then the $30 at the flea markets, kind of gets offset by the $90 and stuff that, I hooked my friends up with, and they, were happy to pay. So, not too bad for spending $40 and whatnot, and then a little bit more on some other things, but my cat's going crazy. But yeah, great prices on everything. Great hunting for the week. We're probably going to take the week off, maybe go out on Saturday morning if we decide to, strictly because Super Bowl Sunday, and we don't really know what the flow of the flea markets are going to be like. But anyhow, the last thing I'm going to leave you with before I go, on a more serious note, is why we're going to stop going to Flea Masters, because we went and dealt with about 4 of the local resellers. Each price went more insane than the last. It was just so miserable. And finally, when we got to the last one, we asked about a couple different things, and she basically told us, like, to get fucked, with the prices that, we asked about a couple things that were very, very cheap and common, like $1 games, $2 games, just to pick up. And she's trying to sell them for like 15 to 25. And finally, our friend Matt, who is possibly the calmest human being I've ever known, very, very nice, like extremely, extremely nice. He's like, ma'am, listen, like, we've been coming to you for a year, and the same games are in this case. Like, we support local business. We don't want to buy these games off eBay. We want to buy them from you guys. We're obviously not trying to scam you, because we're telling you, like, we'll buy these at eBay prices. But this is a flea market. Like, I don't understand why you're expecting to get 100% markup on things that you can buy at eBay for cheaper. And she's like, oh, well, you're talking about that online shit with me. And he's like, no, ma'am, it's not just the online shit. He's like, but if your prices were more reasonable, we would happily spend tons of money with you every week. And she goes on this tirade about how she, doesn't need us, and how she makes tons of money and all this other stuff. But we look at her booth, and it's the exact same things every single week. It never changes. Like, it only gets bigger. Like, more shit gets there, but nothing ever changes. The booth is the same. Like, there's things that were there. I remember when I went to the flea market like 2 years ago just to like go with a buddy and maybe buy some older games before I had this as a hobby. They were still there. Like a guy that we know tried to ask her to buy a poster out of a game, and he said that was 4 years ago, and the fucking game is still there, and the poster's still inside the game. So we basically we explained to her very politely, like, you know, we would love to spend tons of money with you right now. If you gave us good prices, I'd spend hundreds with you. And she tells us that she doesn't use the internet, that the internet's bullshit, that those prices are ridiculous, that the game should be worth more. And then she goes ahead and tells us like how she sells them on eBay for more. Like, so we were like, well, you just said you don't talk about the internet, like, and you don't use the internet for pricing, but now you're telling us that you still sell on the internet. Like you can't get, you know, $70 for Contra 3 on the internet. There's nobody's going to buy it. Like, it's not going to happen. So we're pretty much done with that flea market now. We dealt with the booths there now. There's 5 resellers there. And all of their games are the exact same. None of them change. They will not budge on a single price for anything. Like, a guy has Demon Crest for the Super Nintendo. I want to buy it. I want that game. I've thought about buying it on eBay. It goes for like, you know, $65 to $75 on eBay. Well, he's trying to sell it for like $100. And basically it's like, well, listen, man, I'll give you what it goes for. Like, I'd be happy to own this game, and I'll buy it off you for what it goes for. No. So you're telling me you're marking this game up like 30% for no reason whatsoever when you have a customer right here that will buy it for what it's worth. Yeah, I'm not selling it. Okay, well, cool, no problem. It's been there since he set up his booth 4 months ago. Hasn't moved. It hasn't even moved into the inbox. Still there. So we're pretty much done with Flea Masters. Might go back there like once a month or so to see how some of the garage sales aisles are doing. But the thing about Flea Masters that sucks is that they setup begins at 7, but the flea market doesn't open till 9. So the resellers go up and down the garage sale booths and they buy all the video games from everybody. So you don't actually have a chance to buy video games there anymore unless you buy them from resellers. And it's just asinine. Like, there's no point anymore in actually even going there. So my videos might change a little bit in the next few weeks because my influx of getting things is going to go down because we're just no longer going there. They open up an hour later now. They used to open up at 8, so, you know, they would set up at 7 and you would have, like, they wouldn't have the chance really to take everything, but now they have an extra hour. So the last 2 weeks have just been miserable there. We've gotten 0 things, and we're watching them walking around the aisles with Nintendos and, you know, DSs and games and bragging to us like, oh yeah, I bought a game off the Tournament Fighters for the, you know, the Super Nintendo off that vendor over there for $1. Do you want it for 45? Like, are you fucking insane? Like, that's just crazy. So yeah, pretty much done with that, and we're gonna try to focus on other things, Craigslist and whatnot, garage sales, swap meets, you know, driving around more, going down to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, seeing what we can do there. So videos might change a little bit, but, you know, might get better, might get worse, who knows. But if you haven't, make sure you check out our page on Facebook. That's Southwest Florida Gamers. If you like the page, give it a thumbs up. And if you like what you see on this video, give that a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel. So thank you very much, guys, for your time. Stay thirsty, my friends, brisk. And we'll see you hopefully next week with some more pickups, maybe if I get a couple things. So cheers. Thank you.